Jess is a social audio learning platform that enables the user to experience the full richness that audio has to offer. With high fidelity voice control, Jess allows its users to save and share segments of audio from podcasts and audiobooks. The app also has a built-in speech synthesis engine, text-to-speech (TTS), that enables the user to play back newspaper articles, academic journals, or text files in general. Add a study buddy to a playlist to collaborate on a topic. Discover trending research through the topics or hashtags you follow. Leave audio comments. You can also invite others to discuss a particular audio file, as well as zooming in on the most commented parts of audio files to see what everyone's talking about. Join Jess today to hear the sound of education. So this is the initial screen you see after the splash with these 4 options. You select one of them depending what kind of user that you are. For this particular instance, we're going to select university. You click through and then you enter in your details. Click through again and then you get a welcome to the platform. On this screen, you indicate which topics you're interested in learning about. These will be related to the type of user that you indicated in the initial screen. So you click on one of these topics and then the subsets will drop down from them, and then you select the topics that you're interested in learning on. So you click through and let the listening begin. So this here is the home audio page. Just let me draw your attention down here to the bottom where you see the bottom navigation. It's divided into four sections. So the Discover Audio, the AI Radio, which will play a random podcast depending on what your friends are listening to and following. The podcasts are an audio book lab notes. This is where your audio segments will be saved, and then your user profile. So up here you see that there is a navigation for the Discover Audio page. The home page for it is basically just a mixed view of all these 4 categories. So if you scroll down, you see the different kinds of content that's available to you. So there's trending this week, topics you follow, cyber psychology, artificial intelligence, and then here this is the premium audio courses, and these are real life practical kind of applications to learn from. So for instance, they'd be writing a thesis, learning how to learn, productivity, doing your taxes, buying a house, investing, your first business, saving money, public speaking, and they're rated at a very moderate price to draw the user in. The next one here is new from subscriptions. You can also click into it to see what more is inside in that category. Here, the universities, all the audio content that they're offering. In the research I've been doing over the last few weeks, I've come across a lot of universities that offer quite a big catalogue of audio content, all of which is free as well. So further on down here, you see your friends' activity. That would be what your friends are doing on the platform. So this for this instance here, Jane has commented on your audio clipping from the Secret History podcast. And the next one here is outlining a podcast that Ben has listened to, so the Brain Architects from Harvard University. So underneath this, there is the live broadcasting section. So this is where people who are live broadcasting will show. So they could be friends that you follow, or live channels or podcast channels that are currently broadcasting live at this moment. And then finally down here at the bottom, there's the different topics that you can follow, that you can click into. So let's go back up here to the top to see something. Let's look into the audiobooks and text-to-speech. So this is the audiobooks and text-to-speech page. If you want to upload a document, you click this button here. You click the button and then you indicate which file you want to upload, and then it uploads. And when it's uploaded onto your profile, it'll be stored in here in your uploads. Now let's go back to the home page, and I would like to show you this podcast here. So if you click into the podcast, it shows you this podcast channel, and on the channel at the top here you see the amount of plays the channel has had, the amount of audio clippings that have been made, and the amount of likes that the channel has. And underneath there's tabs. So then the episodes that the channel has, what the short description about what the channel is talking about, and then finally channels that are related to this, similar topics kind of thing. So then underneath here you can search, filter or sort the podcast on this channel. So if we click in here to this card, it will bring you into the podcast player. So here you see the short summary of the episode, and if you click into it you can see the show notes if there are show notes available. And underneath you can pitch up or pitch down the speed of the podcast. You can add it to a playlist, you can add a study buddy to the playlist, share the podcast on this platform or on your other social media that you're a member to, or you can just like that episode. So if the user was to land on this page and wanted to play the podcast, they'd hit the button, or they could also ask Jess to play the podcast. So they'd play the podcast, and then let's say they wanted to skip forward to the part of the podcast that had the most comments. So you'd ask Jess, skip forward to the first cluster of comments on this podcast, and then as you see here at the bottom, the playhead has jumped forward to this cluster here. Also, this is for making an audio comment, and this here is for making an audio clipping. So let's minimize this and see where we go. So you're back to the audio discovery page, and the podcast player had minimized into this little section here. So if you click on this again, it'll bring up a minimized player, and you can drag the handle up to bring the full player up, or you can drag it down to go back to the normal navigation. So if you want to make an audio comment this part of the podcast, you click this button, and then it'll bring you in here and it'll start recording. So to finish the recording, click the button again, and then here you see a transcription of what has been said in the recording, along with the audio file and the length of the audio file that was created. And if you wanted to post that comment or cancel it, you can cancel it. But if you post it, click this button here, and then the comment will be posted on the part of the podcast where the playhead was at. So if you wanted to make an audio clipping from this particular podcast, click this button and it begins the recording. You click the button again, and it'll bring you in here after transcribing the recording into text, and then you see the audio clipping underneath here and the length of the clipping that you've made. And then if you want to save it to your lab notes, click this button, and it'll save that audio clipping to your podcast lab notes. We just minimize this part here now. I think now I would like to show you the podcast lab notes. So inside here, these are all the audio clippings that you've made. As you can see at the top, you can search through your lab notes and filter them and sort them accordingly. There's 3 tabs here for navigation within this part of the app. So these are your clippings, your friends' clippings, and then the references that you've created during your research. During the weekend, I was doing a bit of user testing, and someone had mentioned to me that they didn't feel very comfortable about having all their research public. So it would make sense to have the option to have private research and public research. So this is your profile page. Again, it's tabbed for navigation, but these buttons here, if you wanted to broadcast live, you click this button and it'll ask you to put a hashtag to the recording and whether or not you want to broadcast to the entire platform, or if you want to broadcast to just your friends. If you wanted to make it just a recording and save it for later and post it another time, you click this button, create the recording, and post it whenever you're ready. So if you scroll down here, you see the different podcasts that you're subscribed to. You can click into the playlist to see the different playlists that you've created. So again, you can search through the playlists, filter and sort them, and here you see that the playlists are divided into 2 tabs. So then they're your personal playlist and playlists that you're following right now. So here in this first one, you can see the amount of episodes that are in that playlist, the study buddies that you've assigned to that playlist, and the amount of comments that are on that playlist. You can also share this playlist on the platform or through other social media, or you can also add another study buddy to the playlist. And then this here is the upload. So the text to speech uploads that you created, they will be also stored inside here. That brings me to the end of the demo now, and I would just like to thank you for stopping by. Cheers.